Hello everybody, welcome back to Level 1 News. Today we are doing business and space. I almost forgot instantly. But
And
it's
robot.
fine. Is there a robot story? I thought it was all space. Oops, all space.
There was some robot story.
It's the end of the quarter, so companies are reporting their financials, and mostly things are pretty bleak.
We kind of knew that was coming.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get any better.
It's not just in the tech world.
Yeah.
I think most companies are suffering. But there is one company that keeps giving us hot announcements, and what we've learned about, in the pandemic and just the world we're in right now, I suppose inflation plays into this too. People are kind of like going for the one laptop household, right? Or one laptop per person, but no PC.
Yeah.
The laptops are big, they're hot, they're portable, so you can do like hybrid work.
PC sales were down a little bit this quarter.
But laptops, especially gaming laptops, were booming, which explains this.
AMD promises extreme gaming laptops in 2023 with new Dragon Range CPU. So AMD got their financials out. There's lots of exciting stuff there, and we can talk about all that. But they've got the roadmap, and the roadmap shows, the desktop is coming before the laptops, but the laptops aren't far behind. Woo!
They did say that the high end of these things, you're going to want to plug that laptop in while you game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does consume quite a bit of power, but it'll be fast. And we also have recently learned that Chromebooks are increasing in popularity. We've had some big tech people coming out and saying, yeah, security's terrible, except on Chrome OS. And it's like, oh, wow, that's a shot in the arm for Google, right? So we should definitely take advantage of that.
AMD doubles the number of CPU cores it offers in Chromebooks. HP and Acer announced the first Chrome OS devices with up to 8 x86 cores. Not just the number of cores, these also have some pretty decent graphics horsepower chips as well, so you can do things like Stadia streaming or Steam in-home streaming and all sorts of fun things like that. These Ryzen and Zen 3 cores will power that kind of activity. It's pretty awesome.
I think they said they had Vega level graphic processing. So, especially if you're streaming your games off of one of those cloud services, it's going to be no problem for you.
Yeah. And that's one thing that maybe Google didn't anticipate with prior generation Chromebooks. It's like, we're working on this Stadia thing. You think anybody will want to use that on a Chromebook? No? All right.
Are they going to put decent displays on these Chromebooks, though?
There are a few that have 1080p IPS displays, and they're not dramatically more expensive.
So remember, if you're going to get a gaming Chromebook, the display might be garbage.
You don't want a 1366 by 768 TN panel. No, please no.
Well, we learned that Safari has been having some woes, and I welcome them. I hate Safari.
I also hate Safari as someone who has to troubleshoot in Safari from time to time.
Can't confirm it's just a trash fire.
It is a nightmare, and I understand that a monoculture of browsers can lead to problems. And Edge is Chromium, but isn't it better than Safari?
It is.
Microsoft Edge overtakes Safari as the world's second most popular desktop browser. I mean, technically, Safari is also the same browsing engine. It's just been forked to the point that it's broken.
It's awful.
Well, not forked, but modified.
If I have to pick which one I have to troubleshoot for, I'll pick Edge any day.
Edge is almost not terrible these days.
Well, Edge is basically Chrome these days.
Yeah.
Plus, Edge does vertical tabs by default. What a beautiful thing.
I like how everybody keeps trying to bring that back in the form of a Chrome extension. Google just keeps making the Chrome extension functionality more and more terrible until nobody has the will to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. And that, you just described the process that a lot of streaming services seem to be applying to their business. Just make it as bad as you can. Try to drive people away. Netflix, for example.
Yeah.
And then when you announce that things are bad, cancel everything. So there's room then for people to jump ship. Where would you go if you abandoned Netflix? Maybe we know.
Paramount Plus subscriber count has grown to nearly 40 million. It added 6.8 million subscribers in the first quarter of 2022.
How much that is for Star Trek?
We got Halo and Star Trek and the other Star Trek and the other Star Trek and the Star Trek that might not be terrible, plus all the old Star Trek.
You want to do a public service announcement for people to stop recommending the new Star Trek to you?
I was asking if you'd watched. Yeah, the reviews seem to be good.
I've heard that Brave New Worlds is not completely awful, but I have a feeling that it's going to be, compared to the other Trek that we've had, which has been
not great.
Lower the bar and then rise above it.
Exactly.
I watched the trailer for it, and I thought it seemed very like action sequency, like a little bit like a Marvel movie, but
Yeah, it's a little. That's the problem with the new Treks is they're a little bit too much pew pew and a little bit not enough,
actual intellectual meat.
And it's not like there's not a bunch of things going on right now in contemporary society that they could make an allegory for. But
then you're gonna make people mad if you do that.
yeah, they made
Then
people,
it won't sell as well, and then you won't get subscribers for Paramount Plus.
when the original series did the half black half white thing, they got super angry. And there were episodes of Star Trek Star Trek the original series that obliquely, very very obliquely, dealt with abortion, and oh boy, that made people mad.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that. But yeah, imagine if we had to apply science and logic to modern hot topics. Well, we talked about China, and they have purged, it seems, all of the Western PCs from their world.
Working on that.
Yeah,
It'll take a while.
and working on that because it is kind of an unrealistic goal. But if you did want to do that, you wanted to do your very own thing, you could probably apply this to it.
Alibaba Cloud gets more of Android working on RISC-V silicon. Cameras, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth are operational. Maybe China's wider tech independence plan is too. So RISC-V needs a bunch of stuff to be brought up to modern standards, but the infrastructure and platform is there to do that. And oh boy, China is moving that platform along.
I bet Huawei's like, but guys, we can't use Android. What about us? Apple is one of the companies that seems to be tentatively dipping its toes back in the get back to the office waters. And as you might expect, not popular.
Apple employees criticize work-from-home policy in open letter. They point out that a lot of Apple advertising these days is, look how easy it is to work from home. And then employees can't work from home?
When you use our products, there's no difference. I'm sorry, Chris, I talked over you. What were you saying?
No, I was just agreeing with you. I think they want to go, 3 days a week eventually? That's what they're trying to transition to. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have to be in the office.
Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Right now, I think it's 2 days of your choice. They want 3 rigid days. So everybody's there at the same time.
So that way, people are more likely to talk to each other and not do their work.
Yeah, they pointed out that the Apple, like the way they design their offices, doesn't even promote that.
Yeah.
It kind of separates you. I don't know.
I'm glad that the cube farms are finally on their way out. Cube farms are not great for productivity.
Yeah, but the open floor plan was worse, right?
That's what I mean. It's like you
have a little tiny space, but it's still open. I think that's what Apple has, based on the article. They were like, different departments work on different floors, but if you're trying to really focus and get something done because it's so open air,
yeah,
you can't think straight because everybody around you is, talking or doing meetings or.
And maybe that experiencing that and then getting to experience not doing that while working at home and then being told you have to go back will force you to leave Apple and go somewhere else. But if you do, for the love of God, don't take any USB drives with you. Do not do that.
Apple lawsuit says, quote-unquote, stealth startup Rivos poached engineers to steal secrets. Apple's got so many secrets. They're ours. We own it. Even though, their vendors and partners are probably the source of inventing stuff. I just don't take Apple seriously after they did what they did to Qualcomm and Intel. No one should trust them. Qualcomm and Intel, juggernauts. They basically set up Intel to be, caught stealing from Qualcomm, and Qualcomm was like, no, we're not participating in this, and Intel declined to participate in that, and it's just very, very bad corporate behavior. So imagine if you're a small company, what you're walking into.
We saw a lot of this during the autonomous driving startup days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of playing out in the same way.
I just kind of got scrapped, and you don't hear about that anymore.
Oh no, Krista, don't you know that Teslas are full self-driving?
No, I mean, I was thinking, didn't Apple try to get into that market for a little bit, and it just kind of just fizzled out?
Although the Waymos are still running in Phoenix, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's not going well. Why wouldn't they expand that?
But they're probably finding all kinds of ways in which it's not really going well.
And that's in a completely flat, gridded city.
Oh, that was the one that got pulled over. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Headlights were off. That could be bad.
There's probably also somebody that's analyzing the analytics. It's like, wow, this family of 4 came within 0.03% chance of dying horribly because, it correctly recognized the intersection here, but the confidence interval was only like 3%. There was a very tiny chance that it could have, swerved and killed them all.
Peach Eyes behind him. It's like, that's within the guidelines. Ship it.
To be fair, doesn't everybody have that moment when you're driving? It's like, I could just swerve off the road right now. You just hear that call of the void. Maybe the machines have that too.
Oh, yeah. There was that clip where there was a tunnel that curved. You guys see that?
Mm-mm.
And there was the driver that was stopped, and it was like, I don't really know what to do, because it looked like it was a 2-lane road, and it looked like one side of the road had collapsed. But it was actually just a puddle reflecting the ceiling.
Oh, I did see that. It looked like an optical illusion. It looked like you couldn't drive forward.
Yeah.
And so the car was just sitting there like, what? And then someone went ahead of them, and they realized there was a puddle.
Was it a Tesla?
No, it was just people. It was actually very convincing.
Yeah, so if people struggled with that, and they don't have LiDAR, how do you... Because LiDAR would have known that it was water.
Which Teslas don't have.
Yeah. They don't have any more.
Remember that big controversy when everybody said, hey, Apple is purposely slowing down my iPhone. Apple said, are you stupid? We would never do that. That's ridiculous. Why would we want to slow down your iPhone? And they said, to make me buy a new one. And Apple said, that's ridiculous. We would never do that. And then it was proven, and Apple said, oh, that. Yeah, we did that to save your battery. Well, they've been found at fault for that. But as usual, the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Apple reaches a settlement to pay $15.
Oh, you mean $1,500, right?
No.
No, it's
$15.
$15.
I paid that at Arby's the other day.
and that's why I don't get fast food anymore.
Some iPhone 4S owners who experienced buggy performance after the iOS 9 update. What version of iOS are we on again? Like 13, 14?
Mm-hmm.
Been a while ago.
I imagine some means the people who put a lot more than $15 worth of time into trying to get this.
Yeah.
They should adjust these settlements for inflation. And another company that has been smacked on the wrist for doing something bad that they've been doing for how many years? We did these stories.
Ages.
We've been doing these stories every year.
Every year. So that tells you how much money they make from doing this, because it's probably worth more than $141 million.
Intuit to pay $141 million settlement over free TurboTax ads. This is from the AP. This is actually old. So there were two free products. There was one that they were offering under a government program, and then there was another one that they said was free, but when you got down into the details, it wasn't really free. Intuit stopped offering the one that was free under a government program, but at the time, it was sweeping up people in the free version that would prompt you to buy things if any little thing was weird, when if you'd started in the one that was legit free under the government program, you wouldn't have been charged. So, like, imagine how convoluted that situation is. It's like, oh, we have two competing free products. If we hadn't had the truly free program under the government program, they wouldn't have had to pay $141 million. They realized that and stopped offering the free one under the government program because too many restrictions. But the reality was that they were just stealing the whole time.
Which is funny because that's what taxes are.
Hey, that's our grift.
We've had a lot of video game studio mergers and acquisitions. Microsoft is just gobbling up everything they can.
Yeah.
But they weren't the ones to get this.
Square Enix sells all of its Western game studios and their games to Embracer. $300 million deal includes over 50 classic games rights, over 1,000 developers.
They did point out some that they'd announced were still coming out from Square, so they are hanging on to the bigger ones.
The sale includes Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal. Oh, thank goodness.
Tomb Raider, they've really beaten that horse, haven't they?
Yeah.
There should be a new Tomb Raider, like Daughter of the Tomb Raider. Deus Ex, which that they haven't made a Deus Ex game, and oh no, they did the Human Revolution ones, didn't they? Those were actually pretty good.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Legacy of Kain, that's ancient. That's PS1, 2?
Who's got the Legend of Carandia rights? We need a Legend of Carandia action shooter.
So, Just Cause, Outriders, and Life is Strange will continue in Square.
Or maybe we need a first-person Urquan Masters remake. That'd be a lot of fun.
Star Control?
Yeah.
That wasn't the name of that game, was it?
Yeah, there was Star Control 2, the Urquan Masters.
Oh, that one was terrible. Well, we've learned a lot about Amazon's warehouses. We know that the unions have now started to take seed, And a lot that's really, really, really putting pressure on Amazon. They've had to give them back their phones. You know they didn't like that. And now they might be giving up one of their most valuable things.
New York bill would force Amazon to limit grueling warehouse quotas. This bill is a response to skyrocketing injury rates at Amazon. Remember, 2 weeks ago, I think we reported on the warehouse injury rates and how Amazon was well above.
The industry leader for warehouse injury rates.
Meanwhile, Boston Dynamics is saying, look, we got the truck unloading robot and we got the package robot. I'm just saying.
And Amazon's saying, we haven't destroyed the entire workforce yet. Some of them can still work. Just wait.
Still cheaper for humans to labor.
And Amazon will also give you some more freedoms when it comes to your e-reader. I read this and I was like, oh, are they finally going to let me just copy my EPUBs in there and read them? My copyright-free EPUBs that I've been collecting? No, that's not what they're doing. Amazon
Kindle e-readers will now make it easier to load ebooks that you didn't buy from Amazon. Spoiler alert, don't even bother trying.
Easier, but not actually easy.
Yeah.
So what they will do is they will take your beautiful copyright-free EPUB files that will run on nearly anything, and then they will convert them to a DRM format. How nice of them.
You don't need to keep those old files. We'll just go ahead and delete that for you. Remember what Apple did in the beginning? It's like you're going to import your MP3 collection, and then it would do terrible, terrible things to them, and it would only work in iTunes after that. Basically the same thing. Have we learned nothing? We're telling you this now in the Level 1 News so that you don't even bother trying to do this, and you stick to things that are not completely messed up.
Well, I think they learned something. They learned that you can make money doing that. And we talked about India. They're coming up with their own sort of like commerce system. They are very suspicious of Walmart and Amazon. And Amazon seems to be trying to fight that by saying, hey, we are going to turn you into the new China. That's what we're going to do for you. You just have to let us control everything.
Amazon pledges $20 billion in exports from India by 2025. This is something that the TechCrunch article author didn't pick up on. But you know how we did the stories a couple of weeks ago, how Amazon wanted to come to like the 7-Eleven and like the convenience stores, and then they sort of ran into some regulatory problems. And then the article does talk about, there was a merger, there was like a grocery store chain merger that was kind of going on, but it's kind of been canceled in India.
You're talking about the delivery services.
Yeah. So this is really brilliant. Amazon is saying now, let us run your infrastructure for you, and we will solve logistics problems for your vendors, and we'll basically do it at cost. And they really probably are going to do it super cheap and or at cost.
For now.
But that makes Amazon an integral part of commerce and delivery and everything that India needs. But India doesn't currently have that. This is actually a good deal for India, at least in the short term, in terms of deliverabilities, exports, and competing in a global marketplace.
And Modi is looking at that and thinking like, well, how much longer am I going to live? And plus, we learned that Fulfilled by Amazon is a new thing, which is basically that.
Yeah.
Like they took Fulfilled by Amazon and just applied to all of India.
Yeah.
Super easy.
So if there's an Indian business owner that does, like, say, makes T-shirts, and they make T-shirts really efficiently, Amazon is just going to say, whenever anybody needs to buy a T-shirt, go through this Amazon or this Indian Amazon Fulfilled by entity, and that's commerce for, and like we don't even necessarily want to cut of that. That's really good because it's going to open up the market for Amazon for everything else.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then they'll reach a point where suddenly they're going to be like, we're going to start charging you for this.
Yeah, probably in about 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, once they are really, really like they can't live without those services, that's what they always do.
But the brilliant thing about that is that they don't have to charge a bunch of money to those vendors that are already operating in India. Amazon will probably be able to give them more business than they can handle and still make money from the buyer, not the seller.
Plus, just do a little math. How much does it cost to ship a pallet of those T-shirts to America versus what we can get the American T-shirts for? Oh, is that less?
Yeah.
Amazon choice.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll just store enough here to fulfill all those orders.
Whoever came up with this in Amazon, this is one of the most brilliant moves that I've seen Amazon do in a long time because...
Brilliant but horrible.
Brilliant but horrible.
Kind of evil.
It opens the door to Indian commerce because India was super on top of like, what's the curse here with what you're offering us. They were on top of that. They were sort of refusing the overtures, but also it'll affect the other markets that Amazon operates in, which if you're India is a good thing.
I think we need a new counter. You know how we like there's so stories that just come over, like you see the same story over and over and over. The new one that I'm thinking of is NFT announcement that doesn't tell you anything about what the NFTs are going to be. Yeah. How many of those have we seen? It seems like that's the only ever NFT announcement that you get.
Starbucks to launch NFTs this year, offering access to unique experiences and benefits.
Oh, what are those experiences and benefits?
I would like a unique experience at Starbucks that involves unburned coffee.
That's a unique experience, but you won't get it from the NFT.
But you might get an NFT, but we don't know what that is. We don't know what it will bring you. We don't know anything about it because they didn't tell us anything about it. They just said NFTs.
Well,
I feel like Starbucks has the clout behind it that they could probably do something stupid like an Instagram filter and people would be into that.
As the thing that they give you?
Yeah. Because people always like take pictures with their Starbucks.
But that's completely fungible.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's just an NT.
Just an NT.
Yo, Krista, you are the Wordle addict.
Yeah, I play Wordle.
Are you still doing
day.
it?
Yeah, I still play Wordle.
Have you missed a day at all?
I missed one a while back because I was busy, but usually I play every day.
Well, in fact, you are not alone. There are a lot of people that like it, but the interest does appear to be waning.
NY Times says Wordle drove tens of millions of new users, record growth, but they think that it is slowly dwindling. Which is, I mean...
Okay.
It's like a crossword puzzle. I mean, some people are going to be into it and some people aren't.
So apparently maximum Wordle excitement was on March 2nd. Am I reading that right? It's so small.
It is very tiny. I can't read that from here.
Did you feel super enthusiastic on March 2nd about Wordle?
No, I consider literally it's just like Sudoku or a crossword puzzle. It's just a nice little brain teaser. I don't know how they're planning on monetizing it. I think they mentioned that because they include it with their subscription, even though it's free, somehow that drove subscription growth, but I have no idea how that would work.
Yeah, they said it was a loss leader, but it did bring people in. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, if you get them there and they read something else.
Yeah, or maybe they're like, ooh, I really like this puzzle. I wonder what other ones they have.
I thought I saw a story about somebody else looking to buy it. Maybe I'm imagining that.
I didn't see
that. We
have
the nonsense story about the other thing called Wordle that's not the same as that Wordle.
There's a ton of different ones. Like there's other ones where you can play unlimited. So like the official Wordle, there's only one per day. But you can go to other websites and just play unlimited.
Only losers do that.
I've done that.
Well, the announcements from the car companies have just gotten more and more extreme. Boy, are they promising a lot.
All 2023 Volvos will have hybrid or fully electric powertrains. 2023 is right around the corner, folks.
Also, it is pouring rain. I don't know if our mics are picking that up.
I'm sure they are.
And Google, not only are they bringing you back to the office, but they're bringing you back and telling you that you suck. And people don't like that.
Google overhauls its performance review system after employee criticism. You had not one, but 2 reviews a year. And Google's basically saying, look, all of our employees are basically doing fine. We don't need to put them through heck twice a year. 53% of people in Google said that it was not worth their time to do those.
You gotta think a lot of stuff at Google is probably not worth the time it takes to do it.
Yeah.
Ooh, Patreon, we have that.
We have a Patreon.
We're on Patreon. Please give us free money. And I gotta say, I'm not against. I think this headline from TechCrunch is they didn't section it out. Like, I don't think Patreon is against crypto. I think it was all wrapped up in, do you want Web3? And the first thing everybody thinks of is NFTs.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, dear God, no. That's stupid and we hate it. Nobody wants NFTs.
A major Patreon survey shows that most creators don't want crypto payments.
If you scroll down, there's a chart, and it shows, like, by what industry. No, keep going. There's another one. There you go.
It's very small.
It is very small. You can't see it very well. But I thought it was interesting that it goes by different types of creators. People who make images, they're the highest. They're the ones who really want crypto payments.
Yeah, because NFTs are images.
Yeah. Video was also high.
It could also be NFT, I guess, right?
Maybe.
But NFT and crypto are not the same thing. NFTs are just a horrible new fad, hopefully.
Yeah.
And cryptocurrency is a little bit more established. In fact, getting more and more popular.
1 billion cryptocurrency users in a decade, predicts Coinbase CEO.
It has increased quite a bit, but not quite at that level. That would take a big jump in interest.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like a crash that might generate some interest
Well, the stock market
for
is not
alternative
doing well.
currency.
Although I think Bitcoin got hit pretty hard too when all the stocks went down.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
Now, remember historically when the stock market was tanking, Bitcoin was going up? Something's changed.
Yeah. Control. They've gotten control of it. They've created all these financial products so they can control the price. Just like a lot of other industries. iPhone, iOS does a lot of things, and you have to ask yourself, was that on purpose or was it a bug? Because if it was on purpose, it's so evil, you would think that the backlash would be worse than what they get out of it. But then you think about who uses iPhones, and you're like, you know what? They might never even notice. They might just blindly use it because, you know. So maybe this is actually beneficial, which is so depressing.
iPhone users complain that Apple Music is installing itself to the dock, booting other apps out. The dock is the little area at the bottom where whenever you switch screens, they're always there.
That's your inventory that you won't lose when you die in most roguelikes.
Yeah. Apple does not care about, somebody like me where it's like music icon, there's nothing in there but Weird Al and it doesn't need its own thing.
Or you don't use Apple Music. What if you use Spotify?
Yeah, it's gone.
Now, some people reported that it only kicked out non-Apple programs from your bar. So if you had nothing but Apple in your bar, this wouldn't happen. But other people said it kicked out Safari from their bar.
Excellent.
I like to think maybe that's a bug, but also it's Apple, so it's probably intentional.
Alternative headline is, how you know a company has more money than sense and are charging too much for their products.
Fruit icon? No, that's not true, because what about Adafruit? Well, Sonos is a specialized locked down stereo system that only works with itself, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't that what that is?
I didn't even know what it was when I saw the headline.
I think it's a whole house stereo thing, which...
Just build your own. We've got videos on that.
Yeah, you're going to be... upgrading is expensive. Plus, they did the whole thing where they did the upgrade thing, but then they destroyed them.
Yeah, you don't need to deal with any of that.
So they've got an exciting new service because we don't have enough of these.
Sonos is about to introduce its own voice assistant, letting you know once and forever that they have more money than they know what to do with, and they charge too much for their products because otherwise they wouldn't have the money to work on something so stupid.
They didn't even seem to name it, right? It's just Sonos voice control. What a boring Sonos voice experience.
Do you have to yell that every time you want it to turn on?
That's pretty long, isn't it?
Sonos voice experience! Play my new song.
They could just call it SV, right?
Wow. Sven?
We are heading to the moon, and it's exciting. And Elon Musk is at the head of it, even though he's evil now.
I think he was always evil.
No, he was our champion, Krista, right up until like 2 weeks ago.
That's a joke about the New York Times article.
No, it's a lot more than that. Everybody had an article. But the SpaceX crew is flexing here, and they're saying, like NASA has said, we want to take, how much was it? It was
900 kilograms. Just a little less.
865. NASA's like, we got to get 865 kilograms to the moon. Can you do it, SpaceX? And SpaceX was just like scoffed at them. They're like, don't waste our time.
The SpaceX engineer says NASA should plan for Starship's significant capability. Look, we can get 4 fire trucks onto the lunar surface. That's 100 tons. What are you talking about 896 kilos? Come on.
Or what did he say? 10 elephants or 7 elephants or something like that?
11 elephants.
Oh, 11 elephants.
That's a very American way of measuring things.
Although elephants are not
uniform.
Yeah, there could be different sized elephants.
We got one standard elephant.
Yeah, is it African or
African
Asian?
Or European?
Are elephants anywhere but Africa?
Yeah, they are.
Where
There's
are they?
Asian and African elephants. Asian ones are a little bit smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta take a look at an Asian elephant.
You probably would recognize them. They have a slightly different shape.
Well, though going back to the moon is exciting and everything, but what we learned about going there the first time is that there are some hidden dangers that we didn't think about at the time because we were so gung-ho to beat the Russians. And now, maybe we're going to take some precautions.
NASA is sending an artificial female body or 2 of them, to the moon to study radiation risks. Helga and Zohar.
Zohar doesn't sound like a female name, does it?
It doesn't, no.
I'm sure it is, ethnically. But now here's the difference. Why two, you ask? Why Helga and Zohar? Well, one of them, we don't know which, or maybe we do, but I didn't get that from the article, is going to be wearing radiation shielding, and the other one will be going commando.
Just going raw.
And they've got sensors, radiation sensors, in all the various bits of the bodies. Oh, here they are.
Yeah.
There's the one with the shielding.
You're going to have to wear this lead smock the entire time that you're in space if you ever want to have kids. Sorry.
Yeah, they think women tend to respond worse to space radiation than men.
Right, so they're going to put radiation sensors in all the girl bits that they think that might build up in, and then try to come up with a suit that can sort of protect that. Do you give up your fertility in order to be an astronaut?
Well, you might have already had kids at that point.
I don't think women are qualified to make that choice.
Take that away from them. It's funny because it's sad.
Well, the James Webb Telescope, it's been up there for a while, and this entire time it's been transforming. I like to imagine that it was making that Transformers noise the entire time from the cartoon series. I always love that noise.
Making the noise continuously for the several weeks that it's taken for it to transform.
Even though there was no reason to do that in space because the sound won't even carry, they added speakers. I like to believe that. And it is now fully transformed.
NASA's James Webb Telescope completely aligned and fully focused. Woo!
Look at it.
That's beautiful. I like the honeycomb pattern.
Now, unfortunately, it is fully transformed, but it is not calibrated yet. So we're now going into the calibration phase. Not the most exciting part of space exploration, but necessary. And Rocket Lab, they were the crazy new space company, and they said, you know, we're not doing these self-landing rockets. We're just going to throw a helicopter pilot out there and have them catch them. Did it work?
Rocket Lab catches the falling rocket with a helicopter and then drops it in the ocean.
Butterfingers.
So close.
Well,
the helicopter pilot said that the load characteristics were a little different than the simulation, so he erred on the side of caution, but they still recovered it, and they're going to reuse it.
They got it, and it was the trip back. I imagine, because you know how once things start spinning against the, I don't know what you call that, but it just gets worse and worse and worse. And
like a tire swing.
Yeah, eventually it will take that helicopter down. Or like a trailer on the back of a car when it starts fishtailing a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
That will only get worse. So I think this pilot was like, yeah, I'm not going to die for this booster. But they did have a ship waiting to get it, so it's not at the bottom of the ocean. They got it. Yeah. Probably a little water damage.
Just a little. It's
but
salt water.
Still, that's really, really good.
It's impressive. Although, it seems like doing that every single time, eventually, isn't that going to go bad? I would buy an extra helicopter, is all I'm saying.
I think we'll have a generation of rocket catchers. That was one of the problems with CRT production. It turns out that when the last CRT production lines were being shut down, there were companies that wanted to continue producing replacement CRT parts, but the problem was that the people who were making good CRTs were people who had been doing it 20 years, and they were really good at it.
I think we probably will have a surplus of helicopters available for this because they don't seem as useful in war as they used to be.
It's true of a lot of vehicles.
The man pads have changed things.
Did you see that they deployed like the new fancy tank that had never seen the Russia deployed
It was hot new tech. They were really excited about it.
And it was immediately destroyed. Like, immediately.
That's going to suck if you're like, oh, hey, Mr. Conscript, you're going to be the first tank battalion in the new tank. And you're thinking, oh, God, I'm a target. I'm such a target.
Yeah, it made it about 5 miles. And then it didn't make it.
Wow. I really, really think that I'm eating a lot of propaganda, though.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how much of that I'm buying. So Japan, I'm often shocked. I watch some of these like Japan vending machine YouTube channels or the Japan Experience, and I'm often shocked how much trust the people of Japan or the places in Japan put in the people not to destroy and steal things. Like some of those ramen vending machines, I'm sitting there thinking people would just destroy that so quickly here.
Yeah.
They would tear that apart, and we just can't have nice things. And I guess maybe they do have some of that.
Japan firm develops AI system to catch shrine box donation thieves. So this is a shrine that is unattended and has a box where you can put cash in, but it's not really well protected.
Oh, I thought they had a picture of it. They don't. So it looks for people moving around to the back of the box where I guess the lock is, where you could easily get to all the money, or people like doing weird things, staying too long, whatever, and then it will send out an alert. That is, really nasty. It's like stealing from the collection plate at church.
Yeah.
I wonder, do the shrines do they do like feed the poor and that kind of thing? Do they use that money for that?
Usually.
Engagement challenge if you're
For a Shinto shrine? I'm not sure. Yeah.
I suppose maintenance has to be done on the shrine and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Grounds, that kind of thing.
Well, Krista, of course, the black hole story. Did you add this one?
I added this one. Yeah, someone sent this to me on Twitter, and I thought the sound was really cool.
Yeah, this was a very cool story. I wonder, though, when you listen to the sound, because the sound isn't, like anything you can really interpret, but did you hear the whispers, like the call?
The call of the void?
Yeah, the black hole was like, come, Krista, come and be part.
It's a cool sound. Hear the sound of a black hole echo. So it's not really what a black hole sounds like. It's more like, this is how we could find one by using sound, kind of like echolocation sort of thing, was the gist of it. But the video they have demonstrating it, I think you scroll back up there. If you hit play, it's like it'll give you a visual representation, but the sound is so cool.
I don't think they can hear our
No,
desktop
I don't think
noises.
they can hear it
We've
either.
got that.
But...
Oh, you know what? They can. They're hearing that. Sounds for that.
But it's a cool sound. If you're a musician in our audience, please use that in a sample for a song.
Krista, oh, is that loud? Can you do they
just
have the
sample
copyright
black hole sounds?
Krista, you should do some black hole paintings. Look how good this is.
Is that actually what... They don't look like that, right? We actually don't really know what they look like. So it would just be blackness.
No, we got the
one image that's like...
you got,
yeah.
You got this. You know what? It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Take some creative license.
A black hole can be anything you want it to be. I don't think that's true, but...
Well, that's it for business and robot space. Tomorrow, or Friday, will be whatever's left, which will be security and nonsense.
So
Good
much
sections.
nonsense.
Right. Bye! Bye!